to start with something a little awkward. Last Saturday morning, I sat down on my cushion to meditate. I put on my headphones, I started a 10-minute timer, and by the second minute, I was already thinking about a text message I had forgotten to reply to. By the fourth minute, I was drafting that message in my head. By the eighth minute, the bell rang, and honestly, I had not been there at all. I had made a quiet promise to myself. This morning, I am going to cultivate. And 10 minutes later, that promise had melted in my hand.
Thank you for opening so honestly, Amy. So many of our friends listening today know that exact feeling. We make a vow. I am going to cultivate. I am going to be present. I am going to change. And somewhere between Sunday night and Tuesday afternoon, the vow quietly disappears. Not because anything dramatic happened, just because life kept going. In today's words from Gong Living Buddha go right to the heart of that gap. The piece is called Diligent Cultivation, and it asks a piercing, simple question. When you said you would cultivate, did you really mean it? And how long did really mean it last?
Hi everyone, I'm Amy. And yes, that question is exactly what I needed today.
Dear cultivators, hello. Today we are going to read together and feel together a piece of guidance from Gong Living Buddha, what we call compassionate words from the Buddhas. The piece is titled Diligent Cultivation. In one short song, the master holds an entire teaching of the Tao path, how to make the vow, how to live the vow, and how to never let the vow be forgotten. Before we read it aloud, friends, I want to point out something about its shape. This piece is what we call a cap-top training. 8 lines, and if you take the first Chinese character of each line and read them in order, they spell out a hidden message. 8 characters. Fa, Yuan, Qin, Xiu, Yong, Shi, Fu, Xuan. In English, make the vow, cultivate diligently, pledge forever, never forget. The master has hidden the entire instruction inside the spine of the song. The first half, make the vow, cultivate diligently, tells us where to begin. The second half, pledge forever, never forget, tells us how long to keep going.
That's beautiful. So the title of the song is The Teaching, and the body of the song is how to actually live it.
Yes, now Amy will read the 8 lines for us in English. Friends, please listen with the heart, not the head. Let the words land first, before we begin to unpack them.
I make the vow to follow in the footsteps of those who walked before me, with feet on the ground, to cultivate to wholeness. I am willing to leave the realm of suffering and accept the trials, to clear my own karma, to settle old debts of grievance. Diligently I wipe the mirror clean until no stain remains. Carefully I watch the most hidden, the most subtle places of the heart. On the path of cultivation, I change with a true heart. I study and ponder the deep, mysterious gate of inner law. Forever I pronounce my pledge to align with the heavenly mandate, to turn the great wheel of heaven and earth, knowing in full how worthy of awe the mandate is. I vow with all my will to cultivate and to serve, keeping the heart undisturbed. In motion and in stillness alike, I guard the field of my true nature. I will not retreat, not in a single thought, until the last 3 inches of breath are gone. Only then can I return to the heaven of truth. Deception, lies, and concealment add only to the weight of karma. One must never deceive others, and far less deceive heaven itself.
Let's begin with the first line. I make the vow to follow in the footsteps of those who walked before me, with feet on the ground, to cultivate to wholeness. Friends, listen carefully. There are 3 quiet things woven into this single line. The vow, the way of walking, following in the footsteps of those who walked before, and the destination, wholeness. Why does the master begin not with knowledge, but with a vow?
For me, knowledge is something I hold in my hand. I can pick it up and put it down. But a vow is something I have to live up to, even on the days I don't feel like it.
Yes. A vow is the fuel that carries you through the day you don't want to cultivate. Knowledge alone has no fuel. A vow is the fuel. Then notice the second piece. We follow in the footsteps of those who walked before. There is a great humility in this line. We are not saying, I will figure this out by myself. I am clever enough. We are saying, others have walked here, and I will trust the path they have left behind. No one in a single lifetime is wise enough to walk a path of liberation alone. And the third piece, feet on the ground. The master could have said, cultivate to perfection. He chose this very humble image. Why? Because the most common failure in the spiritual path is not laziness, it is loftiness. We read a profound teaching, our heart soars, we feel we have understood something, and then we forget to do the dishes with patience. Wholeness in this teaching does not mean some faraway enlightenment. It means the feet that walked into the temple this morning are the same feet that step into the kitchen tonight. The cultivation has to come down to where the feet actually are.
Leo, when I read the second line, I felt resistance, honestly. The willing part is easy when life is easy. Last month, I had a stretch where 3 things went wrong in 1 week. A project deadline got pulled forward, my mother had to go to the emergency room, and the car broke down on the highway. By Friday, I wasn't willing to accept anything. I was just exhausted.
I'm so glad you said that, because that is exactly the trap of this line. Most people read it and think, be willing, be cheerful in suffering, smile at hardship. And honestly, that is not what the master is saying. Notice the word accept. Not enjoy, not celebrate, accept. To accept means the hardship has arrived, I do not pretend it is not arriving, I do not run from it. I let it land where it lands, and I look at what it might have come to teach. There is a verse from the Gospel of Matthew that has helped many cultivators sit with this line. Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest." What does Jesus offer? Not the removal of the burden. He says, "Take up my yoke. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light." The rest is found inside the carrying, not in the escape. A yoke, in the English of that time, is what oxen wear when they pull together, the harness that joins 2 of them so the work is shared. The promise here is not no work. The promise is you are not alone in the work. This is the same promise the Master gives. The trial, when accepted with a willing heart, is what dissolves the old debts. It is what clears the karma you came into this life carrying.
So the willingness isn't about feeling good about hardship. It's about not running.
Yes, and here is something subtle. Every time we run from a trial, we make a quiet exchange. We trade the trial we are facing now for a heavier one later. There is a teaching often passed down in this form. Between the stimulus that strikes us and the response we choose, there is a space. And in that space lies our freedom. The willingness in this line, that is the moment in that space. When the trial arrives, before we react with despair or with anger or with running, we have a doorway. The doorway is 1 second wide. The whole work of cultivation is to step into that doorway and choose to receive what has come. Now we come to what may be the most quoted line of this entire song. Diligently I wipe the mirror clean until no stain remains. Carefully I watch the most hidden, the most subtle places of the heart. Friends, this single line braids together 2 of the most important teachings in the entire spiritual tradition of East Asia. The first half is almost a direct quotation of a famous Buddhist verse. The second half is almost a direct quotation of a famous Confucian teaching. The Master is doing something extraordinary here. He is showing us, in one breath, that the deepest places of every great tradition are pointing at the same inner work.
Tell us the verse, the Buddhist one.
It comes from the Platform Sutra of the 6th Patriarch. A senior monk named Shenxiu wrote 4 lines on the wall of the monastery. The body is the tree of awakening. The mind is a stand for a clear mirror. Time and again wipe it clean. Do not let dust settle on it. The reason this verse has lasted 1400 years is that it captures something every cultivator can recognize. Our minds are not damaged, they are not broken. They are a clear surface, a mirror, and the only thing that obscures the seeing is the dust that gathers when we are not paying attention. The dust is the small judgment, the half-spoken comparison, the pinch of jealousy, the rehearsal of resentment. It is not catastrophic. It is just dust. But left alone, dust covers the mirror. And then we no longer see clearly. So the practice is not to throw away the mirror. The practice is wipe, and wipe again, daily, with care.
And the Confucian half?
The second half, carefully watch the hidden, the subtle, is almost a direct quotation from the Doctrine of the Mean. The Confucian master says, "Nothing is more visible than what is hidden. Nothing is more apparent than what is subtle. Therefore, the noble person is careful when alone." This is one of the deepest teachings in the Confucian tradition. Why is it deep? Because it overturns a quiet assumption almost everyone carries. The assumption is, when no one is watching, it doesn't really count. When I'm alone in my apartment scrolling on my phone, when I'm in my car cursing the driver in front of me, when I am at home making the small choice to cut a corner, surely those don't count because no one sees. The master of the mean turns this around with breathtaking force. He says, those moments are precisely where your true character is being formed, because in front of others, anyone can play a role. The you that exists alone when no eye is on you, that is the real you. And it is showing itself in the smallest, most subtle places.
Leo, I want to admit something. Not long ago, around 2 in the morning, I caught myself doing something I had told myself I would stop. I was reading old messages from a relationship that had ended badly. I had said many times, "That's done, I'm not going to look anymore." But there I was, scrolling, and then a smaller, sneakier voice spoke up. Just one more time, just to make sure I didn't misread what he said. I read. Of course I felt worse. And then I scolded myself. Why did I do that again? And 20 seconds later, I was scrolling again.
That is a perfect picture of the dust. Notice, there are 3 layers in what you described. The first layer is the action, scrolling. The second layer is the small voice that justified the scrolling. Just one more time. The third layer is the self-criticism. Why did I do that? Here is the secret. Wiping the mirror is not aimed at the action. It is aimed at the second layer, the small justification. Because the action came after the justification, and the self-criticism is just another voice on the same mirror. So when the master says, watch the subtle, the hidden, he is asking us to watch that second layer. The voice that said, just one more time. Catch it. Not to fight it, just to see it. The moment you see it, the dust loosens.
It's like, I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be awake.
Yes, and that one shift is enough. You don't have to win the war with the small voice. You just have to no longer believe it without examination. Line 4 follows naturally. On the path of cultivation, I change with a true heart. I study and ponder the deep, mysterious gate of inner law. 2 phrases, change with a true heart, and the deep gate of inner law. Amy, what is the difference between changing with a true heart and just changing your behavior?
I think when you change behavior because someone is watching, the behavior changes, but you don't. The next time no one is watching, you go back.
Exactly. And there is a beautiful line in the Tao Te Ching, chapter 48, that lights this up. Lao Zi says, "In learning, every day something is added. In the way, every day something is taken away. Subtract and subtract again until you arrive at non-doing." Notice the direction. Most learning is addition. We add knowledge, we add credentials, we add skills. But the way of cultivation is the opposite. It is subtraction. We are not adding new layers to ourselves. We are slowly peeling away what was never our true face. The small grasping, the small fear, the small need to be praised. To change with a true heart is to subtract, gently, daily, the layers that are not us. And what is left, when nothing fake remains, is what the Master calls the deep, mysterious gate of inner law. We will not say more about that gate today. The Tao reserves its deepest names for those who walk the path themselves. But know this, that gate is not somewhere far away. It is the place inside you that does not move when everything around you is moving.
Leo, I find Master Jigong's words so warm and so direct. I really wish more people could hear teachings like this.
Yes. Friends, if what you are listening to today is touching something inside you, please consider doing something simple. Like the episode, subscribe to the show, share it with one friend, one family member, one elder cultivator who might be carrying a heavy week. Each share is one more soul who gets to hear the Master's words. That is the true reason we do this work. Now, let us continue. Line 5 turns toward time. Forever I pronounce my pledge to align with the heavenly mandate, to turn the great wheel of heaven and earth, knowing in full how worthy of awe the mandate is. 3 words to sit with: forever, alignment, awe. Why does the Master use forever?
Because alignment is something we usually do when we feel like it, and the mandate is not on our schedule.
Beautifully said. The heavenly mandate is not waiting for our convenience. The phrase, awe of the mandate, is what Confucius called one of the 3 things a noble person fears. Not fear as in afraid, but awe. The same word the German philosopher Immanuel Kant used at the very end of his Critique of Practical Reason. Kant said, "2 things fill the mind with ever-renewed awe, the starry sky above me and the moral law within me." Notice, neither of these was invented by Kant. They are not under his control. They are simply there. Awe, in this sense, is not the awe of a small child afraid of a thunderclap. It is the awe of a grown adult standing in front of something larger than the self and choosing to align. The Master tells us, turn the great wheel of heaven and earth. We do not turn the wheel by force. We turn it by stepping into right relationship with it. The wheel turns those who fight it. It carries those who align with it.
I want to share another moment. Last weekend, I was at a temple service. I knelt on the cushion, the bell rang, and for 15 minutes, my heart was completely quiet. Quieter than it had been in months. And on the drive home, 15 minutes after that, there was a slow car in front of me, and I was already cursing under my breath. The same person, 15 minutes apart. The temple version of me and the steering wheel version of me. They barely knew each other.
And that is exactly what forever means. The Master is not asking us to be aligned during the hour we are in the temple. He is asking us to be aligned in the slow car, in the long line at the grocery store, in the moment a coworker leaves the dishes in the sink. Those are the real test. Awe is not the feeling we have when the bell rings. Awe is the steadiness we keep when the slow car is in front of us, when the line is long, when the dishes are still there. That is alignment with the mandate. Line 6 builds on this.
I vow with all my will to cultivate and to serve, keeping the heart undisturbed. In motion and in stillness alike, I guard the field of my true nature. Friends, the Master uses an image here for the heart space, Fang Kun, the square inch. He is naming the most ordinary thing, the small space inside the chest where everything begins. And he says, that small space, keep it undisturbed. Then he adds something almost impossible, in motion and in stillness alike. Most of us can keep the square inch undisturbed when we are sitting still. The instant we stand up, phone rings, message arrives, child cries, traffic light turns red. The square inch is gone. So the practice is keeping that small space steady, not in monastery silence, but in the living room, in the car, in the office. The field of true nature does not move because the world is moving. It is the field on which everything else moves. Our work is not to make the world quiet. Our work is to remember that we are the field, not the wind across the field.
Leo, that image of guarding a field, can you say a little more?
Yes, and let me unpack it carefully, because the image is doing more work than it looks. First, the literal mapping. The Master says your true nature is a field, a piece of cultivated earth with edges and a center. Why a field? Why not a flame or a star or a river? Because a field is something a farmer tends every day. A field is not preserved by passion or by drama. It is preserved by daily, quiet, almost boring care. You walk it in the morning, you check the edges, you pull a weed, you watch for what does not belong. A field is not won once and kept forever. It is kept by daily walking. The second piece, a field has a boundary. To guard the field is to know what is yours and what is not. When a thought rises that is not your true voice, a thought of jealousy, of self-pity, of comparison, you can stand at the edge of the field and say, "This is not my crop. I will not let it take root." Not by anger, just by recognition. And the third piece, the field is where the harvest grows. Every act of patience, every word of kindness, every moment of forgiveness, that is the wheat that grows on the field. So when the Master says, guard the field of true nature, he is saying, the small daily walking is the cultivation. The boundary keeping is the cultivation. The harvest grows itself if the field is well kept.
I think I just understood why this path is daily. Because a field that is walked once a year is a field of weeds.
Yes. And then comes line 7. I will not retreat, not in a single thought, until the last 3 inches of breath are gone. Only then can I return to the heaven of truth. This is the line that shakes me every time I read it. 3 inches of breath. The Master is not telling us to be diligent for 10 years, or 20, or until the children are grown. He is telling us, until the very last breath. The vow does not have an off-ramp. There is no point in this life where you can say, I have cultivated enough now, I will rest. Why does the Master place such a heavy expectation on us?
Maybe because the moment we let ourselves rest, we begin to slide back.
Partly. But there is something even deeper. The Master is asking us to live every day as if it could be the last day. Not in fear, in awareness. The old Chan teachers said, when you walk, walk. When you sit, sit. Above all, do not wobble. If we treat each moment as if cultivation were optional, we are slowly storing up regret. If we treat each moment as if it were the doorway to the heaven of truth, and it is, then there is no moment to waste. So I will not retreat in a single thought is not a heavy weight. It is a daily liberation. It says, today's enough. I will cultivate today. Tomorrow, I will cultivate tomorrow. The unbroken chain of small days, That is the path home.
And return to the heaven of truth. The Master is not saying after death we will get there. He is saying every aligned moment is already a return.
Yes, the return is not a journey across distance. The return is a remembering. Every time the field is guarded, every time the dust is wiped, every time the trial is accepted, we are already home for that breath.
And the last line. Deception, lies, and concealment add only to the weight of karma. One must never deceive others, and far less deceive heaven itself. Friends, the Master closes with the most direct, most piercing line of the whole song. Why does he end here? Because every word before this, the vow, the cultivation, the wiping, the guarding, the never retreating, every one of these can be performed on the outside, while the inside is still quietly deceiving. We can wear the clothes of a cultivator and not actually be one. The Master is saying, cultivation cannot be a costume. The work is too serious for that.
I want to share one more thing, and then I'll stop confessing for the day. 3 weeks ago, I said something in a small group that came out wrong. I knew, the second the words left my mouth, that they had landed badly. The clean thing was to send a short message and apologize. I drafted one. I deleted it. I drafted another and deleted that too. Then I built a small case in my head for why I didn't really need to apologize. They probably misheard me. They probably already moved on. And the more I built that case, the more I knew, somewhere small inside, that I was constructing it. I was lying to a part of myself that was telling me, very quietly, you know what to do.
And that, friends, is what the Master means by never deceive heaven. Heaven is not far away. Heaven is the small voice that tells you the truth, even when no one else can hear. Every time we silence that small voice, by drafting and deleting, by building a case, by managing the appearance, we are teaching ourselves to no longer hear it. And one day, we cannot hear it at all. The Master is asking us one last time at the end of the song, please, listen to that voice. Don't put one more piece of dust on the mirror by deceiving the part of you that already knows.
Friends, I want to leave you with a question. Not for me to answer, for you to carry. The question is, when you made your vow to cultivate, what version of you made it? And does that version of you still come to the cushion today? Don't answer it tonight. Let it sit. And while it sits, I want to invite you into a small practice for this coming week. Just one practice. Each evening, before you sleep, for 2 or 3 minutes, sit and ask yourself one question. Where today did I deceive, even slightly, myself or another? Not to scold yourself, not to make a list of failures, just to see one place. One small, subtle place. The dust on the mirror. Then notice, was the deception in something you said, or in a small story you told yourself? If you find one place, write it down in a single sentence. Tomorrow, you don't have to fix it. You just have to keep noticing. 7 days. 7 small noticings. And tell us what you found. Leave a comment under this episode. Share what you saw. We will read every word.
And I'll be doing it with you. Every evening, 2 or 3 minutes. Let's walk this week together.
Friends, if today's words from Master Zhigong have meant something to you, please consider liking the episode, subscribing to the show, and sharing it with someone you love. The Master's compassion needs no introduction. It just needs a doorway. You are that doorway. Let the Master's words pass through you to the next soul that needs them. I have learned alongside you this far. If anything I have shared was incorrect or incomplete, I sincerely ask the Buddhas,
the bodhisattvas, and all elder cultivators to forgive me with compassion. Thank you, friends. Gratitude for the grace of heaven. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
Thank you, friends. See you next episode.